This video and all videos on the channel brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com. So if you're looking to pick up a sealed product or singles, use the link in the description below and the code KENOBI at checkout to get 5% off your order. This is going to be a pretty simplistic video where I talk to you about the virtues of Gladiator. Gladiator is a 100-card singleton format that is on Arena. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about a way to enjoy MTG Arena. Now, to address the elephant in the room, I'm still pretty negative about Arena. I've been enjoying cubing, I've been enjoying Gladiator. I tried to play some Historic and some Pioneer, but they feel like bigger wildcard sinks if you want to climb that ladder. I'm currently now on free-to-play. I've spent quite a bit of money on Arena in the past, but the way they fucked us over by not refunding wildcards for cards they've digitally errated in the past and similar things like that means that I'm just not going to spend any money on the platform anymore. Although, that said, I will pay entry into cubing. I don't think that makes me a hypocrite as such. I mean, I have to engage in Magic as part of my job, and ignoring Arena entirely feels wrong. But I'm still going to bemoan and criticise the aspects of Arena that I don't like, whilst trying to enjoy Magic in a way that, well, is enjoyable. I guess I want to focus on some of the positives here. So what is Gladiator? Well, you might have seen some stuff on the channel briefly mentioning it before, but I haven't gone into great detail. We also had a league of it on my Discord. If you want to help support the channel, you should sign up to my Patreon for $2 a month, get a free artwork sleeve that looks like this, a unique one each month, and get access to the Discord where we have leagues for Pioneer, Gladiator, Modern, and Warhammer on TTS. Gladiator is a community-created, a fan-made format, 100-card singleton with a small ban list, no commanders or any of that shit. It's a 20-life format as well, so that means that aggro is viable. And the idea of Gladiator is it's 1v1, no sideboards, best of 3 Magic, but it's singleton. And that's what makes it so fun. It is comparable to Canadian Highlander or Australian Highlander or any of the other 1v1 dual commander sort of Highlander variants, but again, no commander. It's been championed by Benjamin Wheeler. He's basically the leader of the format from Loading Ready Run, and the format is insane amounts of fun. The fantastic thing about playing 100-card singleton formats like Canlander, Ozlander, and now in this case Gladiator, basically the digital arena version of that, is that because it's singleton and you've got to fill 100 cards and you're trying to build into an archetype and have an actual game plan that you enact each game, in spite of having randomized cards in a way. You haven't got a play set of Eidolon of the Great Revels. Bad example, that's not an Arena. You haven't got a play set of the 1-drops that you need. So what you have to do is dig deep into the annals of Magic's history, the annals of Arena's limited history, and pick out cards that might have only been playable in your opinion before this in limited because they get outshone by other constructed bombs. Any format where a cavalry drill master is playable alongside demonic tutor, that's right, demonic tutor, then you know the format's going to be kind of wild and interesting. And let me just go back to that for a second. Demonic Tutor is legal. All of the Strixhaven Mystical Archives and most of the cards that are currently on Arena and available to the deck builder are legal. The ban list is simply 5 cards. Field of the Dead, Natural Order, Nexus of Fate, Oakley Thief of Crowns, and Teferi Time Raveler. And barring perhaps Natural Order, although I understand it's banning, you have to admit, seeing all of those cards banned makes you pretty happy. The low life total and the singleton nature of the format means that deck diversity is ripe. You can play anything from like Rug, Tempo to Mono White Aggro, back to varying degrees of mid-range. There's an entire getting started for new players guide on the gladiator.blog that I will link in the description below. It is filled with resources and articles to allow you to start getting into Gladiator. Why have I recently or just now made a Gladiator video telling you to try out this format? Well, Wizards are taking it seriously now. We had a Gladiator event that at time of recording has about 3 or 4 hours left on the client, which was like a free-to-play, enter, get a couple of rewards sort of thing where you can play Gladiator decks. You still had to own all the cards. I would have liked them to give you maybe access to 1 to 2, maybe 3, well, not 1, that'd be terrible if we're playing the same shit, but like 2, 3, maybe 4 decks from the example decks that could have been like phantom played without you owning the cards. That would have been nice, but what can you do? But having hardly touched Arena since Alchemy fucked everything up, Gladiator has been an absolute blast this weekend, alongside Cube, something that I'll be streaming a bit of as well and talking more about on the channel. I think going forward, Wizards may support Gladiator a bit more, but I'm going to talk more about that in a moment. I want to address the other alchemy-shaped elephant. Gladiator does have a load of the digitally exclusive cards in it, cards that I have defended in the past because I enjoy playing with them. It also has alchemy unique cards that are variations of cards that exist in the real world, Jaheira, for example. But then there's a really confusing element where Minsk and Boo, which is a card seeing play in Legacy now, that's right, this card is a fucking powerhouse. But this card is 4 mana in paper, it's 5 mana in alchemy versions of this, like in the cube. Yeah, I'm getting confused too. But in Gladiator, it's 4 mana. I do kind of fucking despise the idea that we have Magic the Gathering cards with the same name that aren't the same on multiple platforms. Hell, Minsk and Boo isn't fucking available on Modo to be played in Legacy right now, so that format looks different to its paper counterpart, which is not a new phenomenon, but it still winds me up. And I also hate that we now have cards using the same fucking art. I mean, those cards are different in Arena compared to paper, so you might really enjoy how Jaheira plays in paper, and you want to play that in your Gladiator deck, or your Brawl deck, or even your Historical Pioneer deck, and, well, you're shit out of fucking luck. Jaheira's not legal in Pioneer, that's a bad example. I do dislike all of this, and it's a shame that all of this stuff is affecting everything on the client that is Arena. It's one of the reasons I stopped playing Historic almost entirely, was because I enjoyed the format before, but then to see these cards just not do what they do elsewhere in Magic, it bugs me to no end. And maybe that makes me old man shouting at clouds. Maybe that does, but the point is, I like it when players can use the knowledge they've gained in one format in another. I like it when players can see a card that they've played against before and they understand how it works, because that speeds the game up. It creates a kind of holistic environment and ecosystem within Magic that I think benefits the game long term as players become enfranchised and experts and subject matter experts on these topics like formats and cards. If cards just do random shit in random formats, it makes the game a lot more difficult to transfer skills from one format to another, and it makes the game feel less cohesive as a game. I do appreciate there's an upside to balancing some of these cards in certain formats because they're too good. Minsk and Boo might just be too good for some formats, I get that. But ultimately, maybe bannings on a digital client are better, especially if you can refund them. Don't forget, we currently live in a world where if you get your cards errated, they don't get refunded. So if they're errated into a way that they no longer synergize with your deck, or they no longer are good enough, they don't cut the mustard, as they say here in my own country. Is that a term Americans use, cut the mustard? Anyway, if they aren't good enough anymore, well, fuck you. They're still playable in inverted commas, so no wildcards for you. So that's an issue, a problem. But the format is super fun and probably my favourite way to indulge on Arena. Up until recently, the way to play Gladiator is to get games in by building the decks as like a free-to-play, not free-to-play, but a free-form deck, and then queuing into your friends via the challenge system. A system that isn't really as good as it probably should be for a premium client for the world's biggest trading card game, but less on that for this video. But this weekend they introduced this queue. It was a casual play queue, of course, but that's fine. That's still a way to play. I got to just jam game after game after game. If I got a couple of minutes spare, I could just jump into the queue and I'm off without having to arrange a game with a friend or Discord member on the official Discord or my own Patreon. I really want to see things like these return regularly. Or if I'm honest, just a regular Gladiator queue, which doesn't have any rank or anything associated with it, would be the bare minimum that I would like to see. So I can just queue Gladiator games to film recordings with, or just to play because I fucking enjoy playing format. Would I like to see a ranked queue or tournaments? Yeah, I think I would. A ranked ladder isn't that exciting. I play it because I like to see number go up because primitive smooth brain have in head, but that doesn't matter too much to me. Having tournaments and stuff though and ladder play does legitimize the format and it drives people towards playing it more. There is an argument that it would get a lot of people involved and maybe formats get solved when they're officially picked up. This might be the problem we have with things like Pauper getting broken every 5 seconds on Modo. But ultimately, the format is designed to be a 1v1 20 life format anyway, so I don't see how that's much of an issue. I don't think Wizards should take over the format entirely though, even if there is a queue or a tournament system in place or regular events or similar stuff for Gladiator and Arena. I do still think they should do what they do with Commander, where although it's officially endorsed and there's products for it and there's events for it now with Command Fests, they still allow the rules committee to have control over this fan-created format that Sheldon and friends made in the old days. Leave it as a cultivated format for people like Benjamin Wheeler, someone who the community respects and trusts, but give us ways to actually play it without having to find someone online and organize outside of your client. Even if your client lacks some of the basic functionality it should definitely have, considering how much fucking money you make. I recommend Gladiator fully. The format is so much fun. There's so much variety. I've been playing White Weenie, Mono Red, Rakdos mid-range, Green White Black mid-range, Green Black mid-range. What can I say? Any deck I can slam a Gitrog in is a deck for me. You get to play cards that you just wouldn't play in other constructed formats because you've got space to experiment with singleton cards. Sometimes you realize they aren't good enough. Sometimes you realize they're only good in some matchups, and then you've got to make that decision because there's no sideboarding, right? So is it worth having this card that's good against the Mono Red aggro deck if you go into blue-white control? The format is fucking sick, and I would love to see it grow to be a core part of what Magic is. Perhaps the best way to enjoy the Arena client as they keep fucking everything else up. Magic is the greatest game ever made. Absolutely the greatest game ever made. There's no two ways about it. Post Malone even said it on Hot Ones. And I've always said that playing Magic on Magic the Gathering Online, which is a system with a UI that looks like someone has designed it out of nasal hair and yeast, I've always said that it's like playing Magic through a thin veneer of shit. But the gem underneath, Magic the Gathering, shines through that fecal matter because it's just so fucking, and that still applies to Arena, although I do not want to reward Wizards for the constant piss taking. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are you going to play some Gladiator? Have you uninstalled Arena and this will not make you reinstall it? Is this the only way you engage with Magic now? I want to hear what you think in the comment section because I like to put a finger on the pulse. Also, it's engagement, so it makes the video do better. If you like the video, smash that like button, don't forget to subscribe. I'm about to hit 100k, it's going to be fucking glorious. Thanks for watching. See you all soon.